Okay, so we have today with us Ryan, right? Ryan
Bryan, yeah, Baker.
Baker. And I met you on LinkedIn, and you have a very interesting company. You allow people to reserve a spot with sports facilities um, uh, on an equal basis, right? So not
Yes,
it's no longer first come first serve.
right, exactly. In
Okay,
fact,
so yeah, I'm aware of that. You get to the gym and everything is taken, right?
yes,
And then it's always the same people who get the same spots. So
yes,
so you have found a solution for that.
yes.
Uh,
Uh,
does it apply to all the gyms?
does it? It applies to anything where you have time slots
Oh, when
uh,
the time slots. Okay.
that people reserve or use, even if they don't reserve them. And
Okay.
we actually have two products, and the one that you just described, 90% of it is similar to what 90% of the other companies that do reservations do. But the
Oh,
differentiator is what you pointed out, and that is we're the only ones that have figured out how to use intelligence in order to allocate and distribute time slots on a fair basis. And
okay.
by fair,
What do
by
you
fair,
is it? Do you have to pay a fee to go ahead of others?
no, you don't.
No.
The club you belong to will pay the monthly fee for the
Yeah.
service,
Oh,
and so it's included in your membership that
okay.
you have.
All right. Because before the pandemic with 24 Fitness, some people paid $1 to reserve a spot. Now, after the pandemic, it's not as bad, so they removed that $1 because it used to be a big waiting list. Um, but this is maybe for a smaller outfit than 24 Fitness.
Well, 24/7, 24 Fitness is a big, huge conglomerate.
Right.
We're we're actually set up so we can do multi-site.
Yeah.
It's broken up into three divisions, what we call company division department. A department being an individual club,
Okay.
a division being a set of clubs that might be in a geographic region, and
Okay.
then the company would be like 24-hour fitness, which can be everywhere.
It could be. Okay. So,
The reason,
so,
go ahead.
so can you give us an example of a company that you is currently working well with that product?
Yes, I'll pick the first one. Uh, and the problem that we solved is Mount Tam Racket Club
A
in
racket,
Larkspur,
a racket, play racket,
Racket and Swim Club. Uh,
a swim club. Okay.
they have a multi-purpose. They have a gymnasium. They've got the weight lifts and the workout areas. But in particular, they have swimming, a pretty good indoor swimming pool, and they have a combination of indoor tennis and outdoor tennis. And then they also have racquetball.
Oh,
The
I assume you are into sports
Yes,
yourself. You like to play
yes,
tennis,
yes.
and
And I was a
and,
member.
and you like to swim.
No,
No.
I do not like to swim.
Okay.
My
So
wife likes my wife likes to swim, so she swims. I play tennis.
okay. So you
Uh,
used to be a member of.
I'm a member of the club,
Yeah.
and prior to um, prior to having the system, they had a call-in method. Basically, 2 days before, you have to get on your phone at 8:30. And if you did speed dial and had three or four phones going, maybe the reception people would answer your call
Oh,
and you'd
okay.
get a court. And
It was annoying.
it very annoying. And what they found out after the fact is that like me, about 80% of the members didn't bother to
Oh,
call in.
okay. What they do?
And
They showed
it,
up?
it was just, they would just show up, but then they never got prime time. They
Okay.
always had to take whatever was left over.
Ah,
And this was deemed by the club to be unfair to the membership. That they thought everybody should have an equal shot at prime time. Prime time being like 9 o'clock in the morning. That
okay.
seems to be a favored time. 9,
Before.
10, 11 morning time. So I had already done a similar type of allocation on a much simpler basis using a huge Excel spreadsheet that I had built for allocating docents for tours.
Okay.
And I told the club, I said, we could do something better than what you have now and similar to what I've already done.
Yeah.
Let's do a proof of concept. Let's see if it works. So
Okay.
I modified the Excel. We set it up, and this was in 2018. We set it up, and we said we'll run it for 2 weeks. And again, it was on Excel, and we used Google for people to do input and for requests. And basically, what we found is that the concept was good. It was adopted by the members. It was easy for them to use. It was hard for me running the Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
Too much manual effort, but that was all right. We were trying to prove something. So even the skeptics who were used to getting prime time all the time with their speed dial, they through the proof realized they weren't really losers. That everybody was a win. So I told the owner of the club, I said, okay, we've proven it. However, this Excel is fragile and time consuming. We need to actually set this up on a cloud server
Okay.
and run it like a legitimate system.
Okay.
So he said, yeah, let's go ahead. And they kicked in some money. I kicked in a bunch. And we built the system. And it was up and running because we already had the model. We already had from Excel, we knew how we wanted it to work.
Yeah.
We were able to put the initial version into production in 3 months.
Nice.
And
And you had to
that,
hire a developer for that, or you did it?
no, I hired a developer. So I focused on the design and the developer did the actual coding
Coding. Okay.
for it.
And it
And
worked?
it worked really well. He was very good.
Oh,
Uh,
good, good.
and I also picked him because I needed to make sure I had somebody who, if I gave him an idea and said I wanted to do this, would come back and tell me either you're nuts to do that because of this, or
Yeah.
here's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
And so we had a good interaction between us, and we ended up completing and building the system. Now that was the first iteration. The add-ons to that, particularly ones that came required because of changes of how things had to be done because of the pandemic.
Okay.
The overall development of the system took probably a year and a half to get to where it was done,
Wow.
and anything we added was just tinkering at that point. But now it's a very comprehensive system that does a whole bunch of things that a club wants.
Wow. Okay.
So
So
that's go
that's a
ahead.
win. That's a win. I mean, now you can present it to all kinds of outfit.
In fact, I am making a presentation Tuesday with another club that is pickleball, about 700 members, who had the same thing. They had an online system, but it was the same thing. They needed to get there at 8:30 in the morning and
And the reserve.
click on open courts and all this.
Yeah.
And so they had a very frustrated membership, and they were up in arms with the management because they couldn't get courts other than the same people all the time.
So
So
they
it had It has a distinct, definite market.
Yeah. So the clubs you're presenting to would be the ones buying your membership.
Yeah, they're members of the clubs, and we're simply serving the club
Okay.
itself.
Okay, so the
Um,
club would have to subscribe to it.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
And the club can either allow non-members to make reservations or not.
Okay.
Um, and they can have separate rules so that members can do a week in advance and non-members can only do 2 days in
Ah,
advance.
okay.
Okay.
So a different level of membership.
There's different levels of membership. Yeah. Um,
Okay. So
Now,
the
the other product, Aline, that
go
is
ahead.
called My Community Lives,
Yeah.
and it is more generic. And again, 90% of what it does is other reservation systems do already. But what I saw differently was in the post-pandemic world, we were really needing to figure out how to regenerate a community spirit and involvement
Mm.
because we had all gotten into social media or other forms of communication, and we had kind of left out uh, socializing in a broader sense.
Oh, okay.
And, and so and I have already a customer for this. That the key here that I thought was important was not just that an organization could post that we're going to do a tour or we're going to have a show at such and such time, but rather allow people in the community to come up with ideas
Oh,
about here's something that I think would be nice, or here's something that I
so
actually
you would ask like in a survey, people
qualified to
in their
do.
own what to do.
And administrator, yes. So they would post their idea. They'd say, "Hey, I can do. I'm an expert. I have expertise in the early years of the Presidio."
Mm.
And so they can say, I'd like to do a tour at the Officers Club on Saturdays at 11 o'clock that will talk about the American occupation during the Mexican-American War. Now,
Oh,
there's a historian that would qualify you, so not everybody can just say, I can do it. They get qualified. But then what that saves is the organization then does not have to go out and contact everybody and say, hey, we'd like to do a presentation on the early years of American occupation of the Presidio. Who can do it? Instead, they let the community bubble up
oh,
and and then they look at it and they just essentially push a button. They can decide whether they're going to charge for it or it's going to be free, but then it's scheduled and then it gets broadcast out to everybody that is a member who has registered, in this case with the Presidio Historic Association.
wow.
So, so those are my two claims to fame, Aline.
So before that, you were not developing anything?
Before, no, I've always been in computers, technology, and software ever since I got out of graduate school.
Okay, so
So I
you
started in hardware,
hardware. Okay. So
started in
basically,
hardware.
so you understood the computers and systems.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But you work for somebody else and now you work for yourself.
Both. I started working for somebody else, and then I went to work as a partner with somebody in a small company.
Yeah.
And then had my own companies and had people working for me. And then I went back to working for big companies, then small companies. Then finally, I said, after the last one we had got acquired by another company, and I was getting to where do I want to learn a new culture or just retire and do my own thing? And so I retired, and then I started doing my own thing, which is this.
Oh yeah, you have a startup now, and you can sell it once it becomes big.
I could, yes, yes,
Yeah. I mean,
exactly.
a lot of big companies do a startup, then they want to do a quick profit and they sell it.
Yep.
I mean,
I'm not.
if you
I
have
don't.
enough,
I don't really.
if you have enough subscribers.
Yeah, I'm not really that driven right now to try to build it up to sell it.
Okay.
I'll probably, uh, frankly, when and right now it's fun. I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
I enjoy working with the customers. Um, and when the day comes where I say I don't want to do this anymore,
Yeah.
I'll hand it off. I'll probably just hand it off to somebody and say I'll take a royalty percentage, a small amount of what you earn,
Wow.
and and go that route.
I
I
know.
mean, if some
I know this is off the subject, but I have 4 websites, and I want to turn them into membership websites on WordPress. Do you know how to do that?
well, yes, I'll say yes in general. I'd have to look at your specific
Have you done
what you're
WordPress?
trying to.
Have you done WordPress before?
No, I don't use WordPress. Uh, I've used both JavaScript and I'm not sure what the developer used for the. I'm pretty sure he didn't use WordPress for the website, but the logic that we use. I mean, WordPress is mostly for display. You know, you create it quickly, you display. If you're going
Yeah.
to do transactions, when you do transactions through it, you need to actually build logic and security and everything else through it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so
You
we
you are
use
you're on a membership website, right? Because you have subscribers.
yes, it has. We have members. Yes, people can sign up.
Yeah. So if I want to have members on French American TV or What's Your Idea, can you do that?
I'd have to look to see what it is that you we'd have to explore it, Eileen, a little bit more. I have no doubt I could do it. I have no doubt I could do it,
Okay. Yeah, you
but
can look at it. Okay, okay, got it. No, no, because when you talked about subscribers, I say maybe that has something to do with memberships and stuff.
yeah, it is. I have no doubt I could do it.
Yeah.
It's just I'd have to look at it to see what you wanted to do in order to
Okay.
frame the time and the cost of doing it.
Okay, I'll send you the links to my website, and you can tell me if it is a good idea or not. All right. So now you're in the Bay Area, Mill Valley.
Yes.
So people there are very much into sports, right? They are into fitness and all that.
We're Marin County is the oldest average age county in the California.
Yeah, yeah. So they are
So so we
upper middle class people, right?
yes. So yeah, we're a club type of county.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I
yeah,
know people are very well to do there, and therefore, if there might be other types of company that might want to use your software, like hairdressers or I don't know, for spas and stuff like that.
yeah, we run on AWS, so it's easy for anybody else that wants to take advantage of what we do.
Yeah.
All they have to do is tell me what the name of their company is,
Oh, okay.
and if they have a roster of members, they give me the spreadsheet with the first name, last name, email, and preferably phone number,
Yeah.
and I automatically load it up on the roster, and then they're ready to go.
Okay. So an individual can contact you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, it could be an individual or a club.
an individual or a company?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's say I want to go swimming at the local swim club here.
Mhm.
I would buy the membership to your software, and I don't need to have the company subscribe to it.
No, you can't buy membership into My Club Lives. You get access to it by being a member of a club that is using it.
Okay, okay. So yeah, so YMCA and all those, they have swimming pools, and they would have to subscribe to your software in order to let the members use it.
Yes, and the only reason they would have to go through all the issues of converting from what they have now
Yeah.
is if they have a situation where they have more demand for certain time slots than they have supply, and that's resulted in a large number of users being frustrated or
Yeah.
unhappy or even quitting.
Okay. Although after the pandemic, the traffic has slowed down for swimming, you know. I mean, it's not as crowded as it used to be for swimmers, but it's picking up now.
Yeah, at our club, swimming is heavily impacted. There's 5 swim lanes. Each one of them's a half hour.
So,
Plus, they're heavily used.
oh yeah, yeah. The only club,
Um,
24 Fitness, that has a swimming pool, usually they limit the time to an hour, I think. So SF Fitness also, they limit, if it's a rush hour, they limit the time you can use the pool.
yeah,
But when it's
the club
full,
started out.
but if it is
The
full,
other club that is. You go ahead, Aline. I didn't
no, I
hear
was
you.
saying that SF Fitness, for example, if they start to see the same kind of traffic as pre-pandemic, then they would be interested in your deal because they all have swimming pools.
Yeah, they would be interested in it if, in fact, they are an enlightened management that recognize that they're there to serve their members and try to treat them fairly.
Yeah, you have to maybe reach back.
Sometimes all they do is look at it and they say, yeah, oftentimes they look at it and say, hey, the swimming pool is full. We're successful. They
Oh,
don't care about who it is that's actually using the pool. So they have to look beyond the usage and find out who's actually using it and whether it's being fair. In the case of Mount Tam, for example, they started out before we put the system in, they did an analysis and found that of the 56 key time slots that they had for indoor tennis, 26 people were dominating them. And it was the
really?
same 26 basically every week.
Wow.
And once they put it in, they found that it expanded to
More.
5 different people
Yeah.
were getting
And then
court time.
yeah, and then you have the hours where nobody's there, maybe, afternoon, I don't know. And then other people can utilize it. I don't.
Right. What they do for the afternoon is they leave those as drop in or challenge. So
Okay.
they're not reserved.
Oh,
They
okay.
just leave them open so you can just show up.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
So first come, first serve for the slow time. I mean the non-rush,
exactly.
non-rush
Yep.
hour. Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. I mean, I have to admit there is a need for it. I mean, I didn't like when I showed up for a class and it was full. I mean, I didn't like that. And I didn't like also when people got ahead of me just by paying $1. I say, for $1, they buy a whole hour. Who can work? Nobody works for $1 an hour, right? I mean,
Right.
they buy an hour for $1, and they can arrive just at the start of the class and get in. That's unfair. In other words, let's say I arrive 10 minutes early so I can get in,
Yes.
and it's full and I cannot get in, but the person has the ticket for $1 can go ahead of me without having to wait. And I thought that system was unfair.
That is very unfair and not a good way to do it, because the end result is somebody like yourself will quit. You'll quit the club
Yeah, yeah. I
and
mean,
go to a different one.
yeah, because people can buy time with $1. So
Yeah.
I went to see the manager. I said, "Do you know anybody who works for $1 an hour? So that person who bought $1, she can keep working for an extra hour, or and and get in and make money, while the people who didn't pay the extra dollar, they don't even get in, and they even if they arrive early." He said, "Yeah, well, that's the members asked for it, so we did it."
Yeah. That's because they didn't know a better way to do it at the time.
Yeah. So, so that was one way of doing it when it was super crowded at 5:30 and 6 p.m. classes after work. Um, yeah, that sounds like you have a huge market to explore. I mean, there must be other application than just tennis and swimming, and it must be anything that gets crowded at a certain rush hour.
Yes. Yeah. When the pandemic kind of put a dent into the marketing
Yeah,
um, things, and
yeah,
which was all right with me, because frankly, um, where I'm coming from, if a thousand companies decide to use it, that's going to be kind of overwhelming. But if 10 or 20 want to use, I can deal with that just fine.
okay.
If a thousand decided they wanted to use it, I'd have to change the entire way I run the company, and
Oh,
I'm not sure I want to do that, to tell you the truth.
oh,
If,
you're not sure you want
once
to
I
manage.
would get to 20, I'm not sure I want to. No, I've run companies before, and when they get to a certain size, it's no longer fun. Um,
Okay, because you have to hire
and
people.
You have to have people, you have tons and tons of customers. Not all of them do you like,
Yeah.
but you have to deal with them. So,
Remember,
if I were to get,
you have the right to refuse a customer if you don't like them.
yeah, absolutely, I can do that. So far, I haven't had to, because I like the customers,
Okay,
and
okay.
they like me. So
Yeah, but if you
it,
are the sole proprietor, you have the right to do business with whoever you want to,
exactly, yeah,
unless you're gonna turn it into a big corporation. So that would be a different
yeah.
ball.
So if the company gets big enough where it needs structure, it needs people,
Yeah.
that's when I will start.
That's where it's no more fun.
Yeah, buy me. Um, I'm I will not strike a hard bargain. You can have it for uh, let's name.
Okay. Let's see. Is it your internet or mine? Okay. But anyway, I think
You,
you presented the company very well. I thank you for presenting it, and I'll put you on what's your idea. It's a good idea. So thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting you. I'll send you some information by email, and like I
do you
said,
have
I'll send you the recording
you
by email.
yes, and your own website in terms of membership, what you were asking about.
Yeah,
Do
you
you
can.
have my
I
do you
have.
have my email?
I'm not sure, but if I don't, text it to me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we've done LinkedIn. I'll send you it through LinkedIn, through a message
right.
there.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good. Okay, thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Aline. You too. Bye-bye.
My pleasure. Thank you.